Same office, same job title, same salary, $65,000 a year, same paycheck every 2 weeks. 15 years later, one of them has about $260,000 sitting in an investment account. The other one has $4,500 to his name, and a credit card balance he still hasn't paid off. Same income, same city, same starting line. So where exactly did things split? The answer is so small that most people will laugh it off, and that's exactly why, year after year, only a small percentage of people actually build real wealth, while everyone else just keeps living paycheck to paycheck. Today, I'm going to walk you through their entire story from day one to that 15-year mark, and somewhere in the middle, I'll show you the one decision that changed everything. Stick around, because by the end of this, you might look at your next paycheck a little differently. Let's call them Marcus and Devin. Both of them joined the same company at 26, entry-level marketing roles, identical starting salaries. Same hopes, a nice place to live, a trip here and there, and no anxiety about retirement someday. For the first 3 years, their lives look almost identical. If you scrolled through both of their Instagram feeds back then, you couldn't tell which one was going to end up wealthy and which one wouldn't. And that's the unsettling part. From the outside, wealth is invisible. By the end of year 3, something small happens. A friend tells Devin something simple. Just set aside $200 a week, no matter what. Devin thinks it's kind of ridiculous, but out of curiosity, he tries it. He sets up an automatic transfer. Every Friday, $200 moves from his checking account straight into a brokerage account before he even has a chance to think twice about it. Marcus hears the exact same advice. His reaction? Nah, not right now. I'll start once I'm making more. That's the moment. Nothing dramatic happens. Just one automatic transfer versus one, I'll do it later. For the next 4 years, not much looks different. Devin's account grows slowly, too slowly for anyone to notice. Meanwhile, Marcus's life looks more exciting on paper. A new leased car, a nicer apartment. If you'd asked anyone at this point who was doing better financially, most people would have picked Marcus, because we're conditioned to measure wealth by what we see, not by what's actually sitting in an account. Here's where it gets interesting. Devin's $200 a week wasn't just sitting in a savings account, it was going into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, which has historically averaged somewhere between 7 and 10% annually. I'm going to use a conservative 7% for this breakdown to keep things realistic. For the first 4 years, the growth is basically invisible. This is exactly where most people give up, because it feels like nothing's happening. But compounding is one of those things that lies to you early on. Let's get into the actual numbers. Calculated using the standard compound growth formula at a 7% annual return, assuming yearly contributions for simplicity. Weekly investing would land slightly higher, but this keeps the math clean and conservative. Heart. $200 a week comes out to $10,400 a year. At year 7, total contributions are $72,800. With growth, the account sits around $90,000. That's about $17,000 from growth alone. At year 10, contributions total $104,000. Account value, roughly $144,000. Growth portion, about $40,000. At year 15, contributions total $156,000. Account value, roughly $261,000. For the first time, growth, about $105,000, starts catching up to what was actually put in. At year 20, contributions total $208,000. Account value, roughly $426,000. Growth is now bigger than the contributions themselves. At year 25, contributions total just $260,000. Account value, roughly $658,000. Nearly $398,000 of that came from compounding alone. Look at that pattern. At year 7, growth was $17,000. At year 25, growth is $398,000. That's an exponential curve, not a straight line, which is exactly why the first few years feel boring and the last few years do all the heavy lifting. So let's check back in at the 15-year mark. $261,000 sitting in an account that's still running on autopilot. Over those same 15 years, he tried to save a few times, but without any system in place, most of it disappeared into emergencies or lifestyle upgrades. What's left? About $4,500. plus a credit card balance that's been quietly racking up interest. The real gap? Roughly $256,000. Same salary, same 15 years. Devin wasn't some hyper-disciplined guy. He never gave up his coffee. He still went on trips. The difference wasn't willpower. It was the system. When money moves automatically, you're not making a decision every single week. Marcus had to choose over and over, 52 times a year. Devin only had to choose once, the day he set up that transfer. Automate the decision so your willpower doesn't have to fight the same battle every week. A few signs that separate real wealth builders from everyone else, and they're not obvious. 1. Their lifestyle grows slower than their income. A raise doesn't automatically mean a lifestyle upgrade. 2. They don't talk about picking hot stocks. They talk about systems. My contribution is automatic is the actual secret. 3. There's a clear wall between spending money and investing money. Separate accounts on purpose. 4. Early on, they look completely unremarkable. No flashy story for the first several years. Exactly what we just saw in the math. Is a 7% return guaranteed? Not at all. Some years the market drops. This isn't a smooth line. It's a long-term average, not a promise. What if I have debt? High-interest debt, think 20% plus credit cards, comes first. Paying that off is essentially a guaranteed return, better than almost anything the market can offer. What if I can't afford $200 a week right now? Start with what you can. $30, $50, whatever's realistic. The principle stays the same. Only the scale changes. Is this realistic for everyone? The exact numbers will look different for every person. Actual returns, timing, and personal circumstances all vary. This is an illustration of a principle, not a promise of a specific outcome. Devin made 15 years ago was never really about money. It was about the relationship he wanted with his future self. Marcus wasn't a bad guy. He just kept choosing what was easy instead of what was important, week after week. And over 15 years, those choices compounded too, just in the other direction. So back to where we started. 2 people, same salary, and a $256,000 gap 15 years later. What was the actual difference? 1 automatic transfer. 1 decision, made a single time. If this got you thinking, hit subscribe. Next video, I'll break down exactly how to set this system up yourself, step by step. So here's the question to sit with. Is your next Friday gonna look exactly like the last one? Or is this the week you set something in motion?